What's going on, guys? It is the Bad Wolf once again. Oh, guess I'm not in white. Or wait, no, I'm not in black. So I guess I can't be the madman in black. This is well disturbing to say the least. So I don't really know what the man in white and gold, um, who will tell you more than you know. Hmm. I got nothing. All right, so I guess I'm just a bad wolf in white. And if it's white, it's right. All right, so what's going on, guys? It is the Bad Wolf once again, your international man of mystery, your source of all things private and knowledge, and, well, I guess education, whatever. You guys get it. So, I haven't done this opening in a long time, so love to all the wonderful people out there, to all of the nations, all of the tribes, all of the houses, everybody who watches my channel. Should we get into it? Yeah, why not? Don't mind me. I'm up a little early, so I still got some cobwebs in my eye. Don't mind the eye crust if I have any, probably somewhere. Just keeping it real. This is who I am, guys. This is who I am. All right. So before we get started in the video, and this one's going to be titled on the American National. All right. Um. So yes, the rumors are true. People have already apparently some of y'all scour my website probably more than I do. Um, so this is not the official launch, but because people have already been buying, we'll just say it's a soft opening for the seminars videos. Some of them have been recorded, and I guess I could have just hid them offline. I didn't figure you guys were going to find them quite so quickly. So this is not the official launch. There's only like four up, okay, even though people have already been buying them. The rest of them will be put up and we will do an official launch that they're all available. I think we have what, four? So we've got like another six, seven, eight. Yeah. Another 6 to 8 videos to go. So yes, they can be found on Black Site 32 on the seminars page. Those are up and soft opening. Okay. To the people who've reached out to me in concerns to doing the conferences, yes, I'm not requesting them just yet. What I mean by that is I'm not requesting people to contact me just yet on offering their services. Because when we do the conference, if you do provide a good service, all right, no scam, no whatever else stuff, I'm going to check out your information, have some people look it over, make sure that you are solid. And if it's something that aligns with what we talk about here and can help people, all right, and you have to be reasonably priced. I'm not going to put you on here if you're all expensive, and don't do the whole, oh, we're cheap, and then all of a sudden my people contact me later on and they're like, oh, she's expensive now or something like that. All right. It's got to fit. It's got to be good for the price, got to have good value, you got to have a good reputation, and you got to know what you're talking about. So you're going to have to get your product or service or whatever else, to pass my judgment, and that is not an easy thing. So when that does occur, and of course, no matter what products or services you guys see or take part in or purchase or whatever, when we do the conferences, you're on you even though I'm going to do my best to vet certain people, some will be people I already know, so I know they're solid, but you are responsible for your own due diligence. Don't just assume it's 100% perfect. Still contact your doctor or your lawyer or your CPA, your whoever, blah 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 blah, before doing anything. We assume no responsibility for any of our materials, objects, speakers, or even things said on this channel, because it's all education and entertainment, so be entertained. All right, but that's where we're heading towards. I will officially, mention when those are going to be available where people can contact me for a possible spot. What those particular conferences will be is that I'll start announcing that we're doing them, and the seminars are available fully, and the conferences are now open for people to apply and to then be a part of them. So the seminars are just me. We've tested them in the back. for the last like year, and we've had really high results in there. Um, so those are going to be me giving away all the secrets on how to get certain things done that most people are really going to want. They already want them. They're already doing them. The conferences are going to be people offering different services, everything from whether it's, let's say, taxes, trusts, health, esoteric, uh, Reiki, whatever it is that can actually help somebody. I'm going to try to put them all in together into these conferences, and they'll be anywhere from 3 hours to 4 or 5 hours on maybe like a Sunday or whatever else. I'll probably open it up, and then each hour, each different speaker will get an hour, maybe an hour and a half to, mention their products. So those will be brought to you guys. Some of them will be free. We'll have some free ones here and there. Uh, but to keep out a majority of tire takers and whatever else, there will be a price, but we'll keep it well within reason. And then you'll be able to watch and actually participate, ask those people questions, um, and they'll be able to pitch their stuff to you. But like I said, we want only stuff that is this is a place, it's going to be a place where normal products, services, and health things that impress me, that I think and people can have and will be able to help you, will be promoted. Because a lot of the things like on YouTube, you can't talk about, you can't show, you can't do this and whatever else. So this is going to be kind of like a spot where we're going to have those kind of things. Like I said, I can't even really. So what'll happen is when I announce that all those things are ready, you'll be able to go to Black Site 32. You hit the seminars page, and on seminars page, it'll have seminars and conferences. Seminars, it'll have a link to buy the videos. Conferences will either say a free day or a free conference, or it'll say these are paid, and then it'll show who the speakers are, how long they'll be able to speak, hour and a half usually. So it'll have the date, time, and all that, and then it'll have the registration link where you can then click on it, buy it. I think because of the limits of Zoom where I'm at right now, I think I can only have between 100 to maybe 300 people. So those will be the seatings for that. All right. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into it, guys. I just want to break it down because people already are on my site and they're getting bits and pieces. It's not fully finished yet. All right. So the tabs for the conference don't work or anything like that. The seminars do work. There's only a couple videos on there. So just give me like 2 or 3 more weeks. It takes a lot of time to put all this information together. I've got tons of papers and notes scattered everywhere. It's a lot more work than you guys think bringing it. It may seem like I'm just on the video going, "Oh, hey, la la la." It's a lot of brain work, a lot of brain power. I've just been very exhausted putting everything I have in there. And then I got, especially like the court cases. I'm going to teach you guys how to break down your own court cases, teach you guys how to deal with IRS, um, and just all of that stuff. So this way, you guys don't have to necessarily wait weeks or whatever else for a consultation with me. In some cases, you'll be able to do your own thing, but I'll still be available for consultation. So if you watch the videos and it's still not enough, then yes, we can still do consultations. Or in general, if you still want to do consultations, I'll still be there. This just allows me to get the information out to a whole lot more people, so that they can, do it for themselves. All right. So about that, sorry for the long-winded intro, but here we go. So once again, this video is about the term American national. Now, a lot of people heard me in my other video where I was talking about the American state national, and I was saying how that's not a term, but it's not a term recognized by law, but like Anna von Reichs and certain other groups do use it. Now, there's nothing wrong with using that term. It's not illegal or whatever else, but we did say that through me being in contact with various three-letter agencies, because they like to keep an eye on me, and some of them like to inform me on certain things, and that's okay. Please do the same thing. All right. So this is one of the reasons how I know certain things are going on. None of which is like, overly covert or top secret or any of that stuff. All right. So really, what it is that the ASN, per their own report, okay, that you can get online, it's not hard to find. They look at that as generally something that is not recognized in their system And because of the actions of some people, and this is one of the reasons why I tell you guys to be individuals, but be able to come together, is that if you fall underneath someone's banner and that person does something shady, or enough people rocking that same flag operate many times belligerently, the government keeps an eye on all that. They watch my channel all the time. They know exactly who I am. I know, and I know who they are. All right. I've been able to help them with some cases, and I've actually been able to help them um, overstand the law, some parts where they're not fully versed. All right. So there's nothing wrong with working with the government or the states, a majority of which are not your enemies, but there are some clandestine groups and people in all of those agencies, in every group, Christian, Muslim, Illuminati, Freemason. There's good and bad in all of those things. A majority of them are actually just good, but they have a sect of people that are a little shady, shall we say, all right, or and have agendas. Well, we're against anybody, any municipality, any government that is against the American lifestyle, our Constitution, God, and freedom, rights, and liberty. All threats, foreign and domestic. There it is. Now, there, like I said, I'm not going to harp on the ASN. I know many people out there who are great who are flying under that banner and using the term. I just urge people to understand that because you guys haven't seen, these things like I have, my ear is more to the ground. So this is not a disrespect. I'm not taking away from any of those people or the groups right at all. Zero. I'm just saying that like how the FBI views people who fly underneath that banner um is not a positive thing. Okay. So that brings me into people sending me information when I said there was no such thing as an ASN, and I said it having a lawful standing. Now, I don't know if Anavon Rights has copied, you know, uh, copyrighted, American State National or American State Assembly or whatever they got going on. If she has and she has an EIN for it, then it is recognized on by law and on the legal level. All right. But it's not something mentioned in the Constitution, but they can have, and if she did it right, it has then lawful standing, meaning it's legit. It's part of the family. If she formed a legitimate U.S. business name and registered it with them. If not, then it's just considered private. If it's considered private and she hasn't registered anywhere, it's not that it's good or bad, but if everyone's using her term and people are out there using her name, the ASN or whatever else, in such a way that they're doing belligerent and combative things, then that's why they have a bad reputation. And I mean, I've heard some inside things, good and bad from certain high level people within her ranks. We'll leave that alone for now. But something like that mixed to the government, and the government then issues a pamphlet on it, to law enforcement, that's kind of serious. Means you're big enough and you're doing something. So if she's private, they're looking at it like, well, you're just this private group. You haven't claimed to be on our side or against us, and you're talking more against us than with us. So then they're going to look at you as a potential enemy under the guise of the Trading with the Enemy Act. That's why for me, I'm a non-belligerent, non-combatant treaty with the United States. I'm neutral. I have registered entities, domestic, and some foreign. And I tell them, I'm not a belligerent or combatant. I have no problems with the United States, GLV, or anybody. Nothing. Leviticus is not at war with anybody. We're non-political. Said it all the time. So though they might keep an eye on me, they're not necessarily worried that I'm trying to amass, which could be how the ASN is construed by them because they literally created a pamphlet on it. They're not creating a pamphlet on the Badwolf. All right. I'm sure my videos have been used out there in the various board meetings and whatever else. All right. For education purposes. All right. So let's get to the American national. Some people have argued with me in the emails or sent me their things. Oh, it has standing. It has standing. So let's take a look. All right. Now, understand when I say standing, and I'm not 100% perfect, so there is always subject to interpretation. But when you look at these America's jurisprudence books that I have here, some of the first three ones here are under alien and citizenship. Okay, so that is positive law, the biggest law books, America, not a sub government or business and corporation, the government, the American jurisprudence books, American law. When I look through there and I say, does it have standing? What I mean is does that term, American and national, can it be found together? And it specifically as two words together, a compound word, can it be found anywhere in the law books, not a book, in the law books, supreme law, and have a definition 100% written out as to what it is? Like the term Floridian has standing in law. It and like a New Yorker, Wisconsinite, Californian, Illinoisan, all fall under GPO style manual section 5.23. It has they have definitions. Using a term like American national, like some people sent me earlier today, it says American nationality. That means Americans have nationality. Americans have something, a nationality, but nowhere in there does it define American nationality together as having standing. So they're describing something. They're saying Americans have nationality. Okay. So let's take a look at what we can find here. All right. You guys might be a little surprised that at your boy the wolf here. Let's take a look. Let's take a gander. Okay. Well, give me 1 second here. For some reason, it's not wanting to share my screen. That's very odd. All right, let me try it again. Maybe it hasn't, it's not awake either yet. Oh, okay. They added some new little features on here. See if it'll do it now. Okay. Oh, now it's pausing the screen again. Okay. Resume share. Very odd, very odd. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, that's fine. Share. Try it again. Try it this way. All right. You know what? Okay, let's see. It is not trying to share my Zoom screen or yeah, or my Chat GPT screen. One moment while we experience technical difficulties. Okay, back here. Video share. All right, I don't get it. Let's stop share. All right, guys, I'm going to pause for one moment. No time should pass for you guys, and I'll try to figure out this problem. All right, all right. We should be back now. All right. Hopefully this is good. All right. So, I asked it, I said, does the exact term American national have standing in law? Now, here's what it says. The exact term American national does appear in law, but its legal standing and meaning are specific and limited. So it did not say here, it says it does appear in law, but it does not say that, okay, but see here, it goes, but its legal standing and meaning are specific and limited. Okay. So it's not saying as of yet that it has standing in law. Now, right out of the gate, if you look here, it says where American national has standing in law. It quotes 8 U.S.C. 1101A 21. Now, I've researched this code to the back of my hand. I know this is the wrong code. It is already starting off with a wrong thing. It means 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22. So Chet already messed up right here. It goes on to try to convince me that, uh, non-citizen nationals, like people born in American Samoa, non-citizen nationals, it says comma, it says like people. It doesn't say only the people born there. There are different types. America Samoa and Swain Islands are a type of national. This is correct. But they are US non-citizen nationals. They fall under the term non-citizen nationals. We as Americans, as nationals, fall underneath their terminology, non-citizen nationals. So we and the key people from America Samoa fall underneath there, but we are, by their regard, the legal word that has standing, non-citizen nationals. But underneath this, these people fall in there, but their correct term is U.S. non-citizen nationals. So they're different, but they fall underneath this. All of these terms, like the U.S. citizen, have standing in law, and they're all under, dang it, the American family umbrella as citizens of the United States. So all of us fall underneath these. All right. So here they're saying, American national does not equal sovereign state citizens automatically. Okay. So here's the reason why is because a state citizen is somebody who's a member to a the republic of the State of the Union or pre 14th Amendment, constitutional, and they are linked through their sovereignty to being nationals. So they kind of use the term synonymously, state citizen and national. All right. They kind of did away with the word state citizen, just pretty much go national. All right. Which can be found under GPO style manual section 5.23. All right. So, but when you're saying an American national, you're adding this word American onto it. So really it should be saying we are Americans who have nationality. You can say the word American national, but this word itself isn't found in any of the law books to and then specifically described. Like in Brazil, say this is the word Brazil and nut. Well, we call it a Brazil nut, but in Brazil it's just a nut. So that's why here we're just nationals. We don't say American national. You already are American. When you say a national and you're here, it's already implied. So they just use the term national. But yes, American national is a thing, but the whole term itself does not have its own designation or definition. All right. So it says American national is not constitutionally defined a defined status. This is correct because they mention citizen of the United States, which means everybody. Citizen of each state means state citizen. The word person generally means an entity belonging in America seen as its own entity. But the American term is a modern statutory term and not a constitutional one. So the statute jurisdiction sees it. So this can be construed as a federal statute. Statute is there, man-made. And they even don't have it anywhere that I've been able to find. They talk about the American national, but there's nowhere where it's defined. There's a difference. Just because you can read it somewhere, it's like saying a Black American. Okay, show me where the term Black American has a or even that. Well, okay, so in the statutory world, you can find the word black, but generally not like Black American, and you can find like African American, but that's once again in a statutory world. They created it. If they created it, that's then theirs. Constitution, that you're talking about your freedom here. So I know it gets a little weird, but let's keep going. All right. It's just if I look up national of the United States, that term has standing in their world to mean us as nationals and state citizens. National of the United States has standing. Non-citizen national has standing. U.S. non-citizen stand non-citizen U.S. non-citizen national have standing. U.S. citizen has standing. The term American national, you're saying you're an American and that you have nationality, but the term American national as a status, which status comes from the word what? Statutory. Okay. Really, dead things have status, living things have standing, but we won't get into all of that. So the term American national, as far as they're concerned, doesn't have its own defined status. See right here, that's what it says. American national is not a constitutionally defined status. But on the federal level, they do use this term. They talk about it, but by law, this term does not itself, with the word America added on to it, have standing. They don't define it as American national. They just define it as a national of the United States, non-citizen national. They don't have to put the word America on there because you are, if they can control it, you already are American. So there is a national, and I'm not saying there's no such thing as an American national, but it's really Americans having nationality. All right. So immigration law does reference the term American national passport, not in the Constitution. The courts, uh, have not clearly defined that. So it's not codified, meaning they have not said, yes, the exact term American national means this. They have not done that. These other ones, just national of the United States, whatever else, yes, they've done that. Okay. So here it says, yes, the term American national has standing in federal statutory law. Statutes, once again, mainly in immigration and passport context. It does not appear in the Constitution or older common law in that exact form. So they're saying that exact form cannot be found, especially in older stuff. So they're using it, but as of to date, it has not been codified. They have not sat down and described exactly if you use this term together as a compound word, together, we're going to recognize it as such. But the word national, because you're already in America, has been codified. It goes on to say it is not legally interchangeable with sovereign or state citizen or non-taxpayer. Right. Because within their systems, these things have a meaning, like within their system. So and within their own little systems, they're saying we don't recognize this term. The government is starting to use that term, but it itself has not been brought to them to say you will respect the term American national together. But what they do have already in place is that you will respect the term national. They don't have to say American national, because when you're using it here, it implies that you're already American. All right. So I went as far as to say, under what exact federal law can I see American national spelled as is and defined? It then starts to go, well, the exact phrase American national does not appear verbatim in the federal statutes, which means it has not been codified. It has not been coded and defined. Doesn't exist. Nationals exist, Americans exist. The term American national written down together does not exist. It says it does not appear verbatim in federal statutes, which means it doesn't exist. Now, hear what I'm saying. In the public, in the private amongst ourselves, yes, we can use this term. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm saying if you're going to go into court and you're going to argue that this is what you are, they, legally speaking, can say there's no such thing. You can say you're a national of the United States. You can say you're a state citizen. I'm a Floridian. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a Californian. That they have to recognize per GPO style manual section 5.23, their own books. But so in the private, yes, you can use any term you want. But if you're going to use it in court and try to stand on it, you might think it sounds crazy, but if they're smart, and they are, from the legal department and from the legal perspective, in the public, this doesn't exist, which means their statute jurisdiction. In the private, you can use whatever you want and stand on it. Matter of fact, if the government, which is what they're starting to do, to use this term, bring it before Congress to be fully recognized, then it will have standing. If you use a word, we, the people, call ourselves American nationals long enough, and we force them together to recognize this terminology together, then because we, the people, have more power than the government, we can tell them we want this to be recognized. But as of right now, it has not been codified together. These words together, a compound word, does not appear verbatim in federal statutes. Along with America's jurisprudence, this is the highest law in the land. It does not exist. However, the term national of the United States. So here, the chat is telling you you're right when you use this phrase to believe that it means this. But this right here is what has been codified, explicitly defined in federal law under 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22, which is what I've been saying since day one. All right. Now it says additionally, 8 U.S.C. Code 1101A 21 defines a national as a person owing allegiance to a state. In legal and governmental context, the term American national is often used interchangeably. So they'll know what you're talking about. But if they wanted to be anal and say, well, your exact term is not a real thing, but this is what is, this is their language. So if you're in Greece and like the word yasu basically means hello or health to you. Yasu in Greek, okay, so nation of the United States, they recognize this. If you were to say, hello, my friend who's Greek, they're like, that's not speaking our language, but I know what you're talking about. I exactly know what you're getting to. That's not our language. Eventually, you would be teaching them English and they may adopt it, but this is what they recognize as real, legitimate. They've adopted it. This is our word, our language. We get it. We know that you're American and you have nationality. And for that, in other words, people, this is how they hide the word American, the term American national is in the words, compound words, national of the United States. This is how they hide it. They don't like the word American for some reason. That's why you don't see it on almost anything anymore. They hide this term, which has private standing, but not public legal standing, converted it into this phrase to describe individuals, which usually means living people, but not always, who own permanent allegiance to the United States, including both U.S. citizens and non-citizens. Okay. And then here, you have to watch the hijack. It says, such as individuals born in America, Samoa, or Swain Islands. This does not say only the individuals born in America, Samoa, and Swain Islands. These individuals here are U.S. non-citizen nationals. This group falls underneath us as non-citizen nationals. So we are nationals of the United States. Okay. But underneath this, if you just want to be regarded as a state citizen, then they look at you being basically non-citizen nationals. The word non-citizen cancels out, like in math, because you're not a citizen, you're a non-citizen. What then is left in the word? Nationals. Okay, do you see it now? So when they say nationals of the United States, underneath there are two categories. Your state citizens, and then it says such as individuals born in American Samoa. This does not say only. So this type of national here, who are not entitled to vote, but are nationals, are referred to as U.S. non-citizen nationals, if you're going to be exact. So American national, as far as they're concerned, is looked at as like a slang term, like the term sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizen has no standing in law. You cannot find it anywhere. They cannot prosecute you under that because they do not own it. They would have to bring it into their jurisdiction. And if they bring in the term sovereign citizen, which is an oxymoron, it cancels out by law. There's no such thing. Nowhere in the anywhere does it exist. They would have to bring it in. Then they'd have to say they own it. And then they would have to create that as a class of citizen that they own, which then means they own sovereign citizens. So if they then own sovereign citizens, how are they going to punish sovereign citizens for being sovereign citizens? Come on, come on. All right. So here I said you use the wrong code above. This phrase, okay, information here is what it is, right? I told it. I said I told the chat. I told it once again, I told the chat, you messed up, chat. I'm not going to necessarily say I'm smarter than the AI, but I do catch its mistakes. In this case, I know the law better than it does. And look what it said. I told it it's wrong. I said, you used the wrong code above. It says, you are absolutely right. And thank you. So if I can show the chat it's wrong, since I was 19 and beating legal departments, judges, attorneys, lawyers, police officers, sheriffs across the board on this legal jazz, I think I know a little something. Not saying I'm perfect, not saying I'm always right. My girlfriend will tell you that. But I just corrected the AI. I'm sure it's going to get better, but they have to teach it how to interpret law. And it basically does. It says, look, it says you are absolutely right. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's clarify everything precisely based on the correct legal context. Federal Law 8 U.S.C. 1101A22. This is the actual federal definition of the United States of America. It includes citizens and non-citizen nationals. Example, people born in American Samoa or Swayne Islands. It does not say only. This is the hijack. This is the trick. This is why some of the federal agents frown their faces up at me when I say this and like, oh no, you can't claim that. You're not from a Samoa or Swain. First of all, if you read this, I can claim that if I want. I can claim to be a national of theirs because it tells you right here. You're born with both the status of a citizen and the standing of a non-citizen national. If that's the case, then by law, I can claim this as well. I don't need to, don't want to. No offense to the people who live here. Never met a Samoan in my life or a Swain. But it's kind of funny that they get recognized, but they can't vote. What they're doing here is it's not the statement is not properly written out. What they're saying is that American Samoan Swain also are considered non-citizen nationals. But by the Department of State, these people are U.S. or excuse is it hold on, non-citizen U.S. non-citizen nationals. That term, these people then fall under the banner of being non-citizen nationals, but they're a different type of national. So we are nationals of the United States, and underneath that term, we also fall into the class of non-citizen national. Underneath non-citizen national falls, so this is what we are, but underneath us, beneath us as nationals of the United States, is a subclass called non-U.S. non-citizen nationals. And these are those people. So it says here the exact term American national appear in law. No. End of discussion. They have referenced this term, but you're also you could say you're reading it also wrong. It'll talk about the American should be comma national or Americans having nationality, but this itself is not a term that's recognized in federal law. Doesn't exist, not yet. It is considered synonymous in practice with the U.S. national. So these two are considered the same thing. And if that's the case, then this term is also synonymous with these two terms, which are recognized and have standing in law. American national, not in not in the statute, only in informal administrative context. Interchangeable in some usage, but not defined by law. It's not been codified. It's not a thing. Okay. What am I doing now? I'm programming it. From now on, I will present all legal discussions using correct statutory language, proper citation, and accurate legal definitions. Let me know if you need anything formatted for court use or affidavits or legal correspondence. So I just programmed it. I can't say right now that I know that in how I have been programming mine to learn and be better, that it necessarily programs yours and to be better. Some people use Grok and some people use whatever else. There's different ones. So what does this tell you? This tells you that you can program it properly. But if you have not programmed yours properly, you're getting willy-nilly responses. And so some of y'all are making affidavits and whatever else with this, and you may not be correct. Remember, let's back up here. It said 8 U.S.C. 1101A 21B. There is no code. This is not a real code. There is no 21B. There's a 22B. There's an A21. Unless I'm wrong. I mean, but I already corrected it, so I know I'm right. All right. Now let's prove once again, hopefully for the last time, that there are two subclasses of national. All right, so I'm gonna share the screen. I do not know why it is pausing when I go to share the screen now. Is it just taking some time? Oh, why is it being difficult? All right, let's try it again. Maybe I have to update it. Do, 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 video. try another page. Let's see if it does that. Nope. Okay, that's really stupid. I don't understand why Zoom has to go and play with things. I go to share a screen and it just paused. Well, unpause. And why is there no unpause button? All right, don't get it. I guess I'll have to figure it out after or later, whatever. I don't know. There. Well, let me try one more thing here. Uh, okay, hopefully everybody's having a good day. All right, still doing the same thing. I will not share my screen. Wow. All right. I don't know what to tell you. I'll have to update it afterwards. Okay. So anyway, I'm on the screen. I'll just read it. You guys can go there on your own. Playing that game now. Okay. So I'm going to 8 FAM 301.1 Foreign Affairs Manual or fam.state.gov. Let's try it one more time. See if I can sneak it in there. A little sneaky Pete. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. All right. So be it. All right. So if you go to 8 FAM 301.1 1 introductions, it's under the 8 FAM 300 U.S. citizenship and nationality. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, trying to find the exact spot here. I know I've already made a video on this. So So it also tells you here that before January 13th, 1941, there was no statutory definition of the United States for citizenship purposes. Okay, so they're telling you that before then, everything was just, yeah, United States is United States. We don't have to define it. So they had to codify it. They had to say, okay, well, so um what about the United States in the geographical sense, but then there's the United States in the corporate sense, and those are actually two separate things. It actually tells you right here in the Nationality Act of 1940, NA, Section 101D 54, statutes at large. They tell you right in on this page all that stuff that I've been telling you guys since day one that people didn't want to listen to or believe. Now I'm trying to find the exact spot where they talk about the other type. And passport. Here it is. Okay, so if you type in on a search F8 FAM 301.1 dash 1 introduction, go down to B where it tells you the difference between birthright or bloodline. That's A, but you want to go to B. Under B, it says nationality versus citizen. Underneath that, you want to go to 2. So 8 FAM 301.1 1B 2 says historically, this is for you, Department of State, even though it's on your own website. It's to you, FBI, it's to you, police officers. There's a difference between nationality. There's two different subtypes. It says historically, Congress, through statutes, granted U.S. non-citizen nationalities to persons born or inhabiting territory acquired by the United States through conquest or treaty at one time or another, natives and certain other residents of Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Philippines, Guam, and the Panama Canal zones were U.S. non-citizen nationals. If you go to 3, under current law, only persons born in American Samoa and Swain Islands are the word U.S. comes first. Non-citizen nationals. So U.S. non-citizen nationals, that whole term means those people are considered that. But up above there, they talk about nationals and non-citizen nationals, just the term non-citizen national. So they're describing two different types or classes of nationals. All of us are considered nationals, but from where are you from to be regarded as that type of national? So in those areas, Panama, Guam, Philippines, Samoa, whatever else, they are referred to as U.S. non-citizen nationals. But that class falls underneath the directory called non-citizen nationals. So they're part of the families too, or part of the family. So if you have a family here, let's say the primary category is called nationals of the United States. Subcategory is then national non-citizen nationals. It then has two different categories. Okay. Well, let's just say it has a subcategory to mean U.S. non-citizen nationals. So nationals of the United States, non-citizen nationals, U.S. non-citizen nationals. That's how it works. They are very specific in the terminology. Okay. I would show you the page, but Zoom apparently doesn't want me to share that with you. You guys have seen it before, though. I've showed it. Try it again. Come on, go, go, go. Do it, do it. All right, can't do it. Anyway, you guys have seen it before. So hopefully that clears up the thought process and whatever else, guys, and all of that. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, like I've told many of my students and whatever else, if you believe what I'm saying is not true or it's different from your belief, use it. I'm not telling you I'm God or that this is the absolute only interpretation of the law. I'm just showing you what I found, and this is why I believe what I believe. But if you can go in front of a judge or a legal department and argue that, like I have, and win, then by all means use it. See, I read in one of the Supreme Court opinions, which is what they call court cases, that your interpretation of the law, if you can show valid merit to it and convince other people of how you see it, and this is so, then this is the way. Okay. So as always, guys, just education from your favorite non-belligerent, non-combatant, neutral party, non-political, Lord of Levitica. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thanks for watching videos. More to come. I'll talk to you guys later.